you guys like afternoon. It's 11 so we'll start then. I will start the recording for the session. So over to you. You may take over the screen whenever you are ready. For all the audience here, during the sessions, you may raise up your hand if you have any questions for the session on this topic. First of all, if you need to get a response from the audience, or you need to interact or talk to them, just let me know. I will just allow them to unmute. At this moment, is their job. Over to you.
This year, like somewhere around September, if I'm not wrong. So we will be diving into the graph toolkit and we will be doing some hands-on demo. If you are free and if you have Visual Studio Code or some kind of a simple editor, maybe Visual Studio, you can join with me. I will share my GitHub repository as well for the demos I'm going to conduct. Okay, so actually past couple of years for the aOS event, I have traveled to Malaysia, not for Singapore one, but I have traveled to Malaysia and I have participated since this is a very unfortunate situation we all are facing. Unfortunately, we have to do this session, we have to conduct this conference in virtual. So bear with that. We'll start with the session. I'm Hansamali Gamage. I'm an MVP from Microsoft Azure and I'm from Sri Lanka. Yeah, so we'll start from the history and we'll come back to the today's environment, how this Microsoft Office lineup has been enhanced, their features, how they have released their versions, what kind of experience we can get from the Microsoft Office products. So in earlier, like somewhere around 1998, maybe you guys we were in like kindergarten at that time. In 1998, the Office desktop version was released. So after that, like every 3 years, you got a new release from Office. So the Office package includes the Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of the applications we are using today. So after that, there was this cloud computing era came up somewhere around 2000, 2005 likewise. So since this cloud computing era, so Office guys, they thought, okay, we will release some kind of a suite to work on this, the cloud environment and to get maximum out of the cloud computing features. Then they released Office 365. So it was a subscription based version of Office. So you will be able to use this Office applications in your web browser as well as in your mobile devices. Then there was the other thing, they released Microsoft 365. What is this Microsoft 365 is? It was tightly connected with Office 365 and it provides like security features and identity management, and also it includes Windows 10 operating system and some cool features available in the Windows 10 OS. Then after Microsoft 365, they released all of our favorite. In the previous session also we had something related to Microsoft Graph. So we got Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph is going to formalize all of these Microsoft 365 data into one container. So you can access your files available in the OneDrive, your images, your calendar events, your conversations in the Teams. So only all of these resources can be accessed through a unified API endpoint, and you can extract some intelligence kind of a data from those resources available through a one unified endpoint called graph.microsoft.com. Actually, this Microsoft Graph is going to empower these Microsoft products, your emails in the Outlook, your suggestions of the people from your recent contact. So this kind of a experience you can get when you are trying to send an email from your desktop version, your mobile phone, and maybe from your iPad. The same experience you can get. So this is available in Outlook. You can the when you are using Word, or when you are using Teams as well. And you I guess you are familiar with the artifacts in the graph. So you have your events, the calendar events. You can create a folder in OneDrive using Microsoft Graph API. You can send an email. You can get list of meeting rooms inside the company. Those kind of things you can achieve using Microsoft Graph, and you can use those the same experience that's available in Microsoft product like Outlook or Teams. You can get that kind of experience, and you can deliver that kind of experience to your clients as well using the Microsoft Graph. When it comes to Microsoft Graph, you have Graph API REST client. You have the Graph Explorer. So I will be showing those things in a bit. And you have Graph SDK as well. If you don't like to use the Graph API REST client and you want something language specific kind of a thing, you can go for Graph SDK. If you are developing with C#, Java, JavaScript, so you can use the relevant SDK that will be language specific, and you can use it to retrieve the resources available in the graph. Now then, we have the Microsoft Graph. With Microsoft Graph, we can use Graph API REST client or the Graph SDK. Then what Microsoft thought, and they thought, okay, we will release something cooler than the Microsoft Graph. That's Microsoft Graph Toolkit is. So this Microsoft Graph Toolkit is kind of a set of components associated with these Graph API calls, and those are web components. You can use these web components, kind of HTML tags can be used with HTML page, with your JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, Vue.js, whatever the environment. So these are the artifacts I talked about in the graph. So you have your mails, your calendars, your contacts, your tasks, your plans, the policies around your the operating system and that has enforced from your company. So all of these things can be extracted from the Graph API. Okay, so enough of talking, let's go for a demo. So I will be doing a demonstration on these things. For my first demo, we have two demos. So we will be going through the Microsoft Graph Toolkit login component, people picker, task, and we will be going through the Microsoft Graph Toolkit get component as well. So I will share my screen. This is my first demo. I hope you can see my screen clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see the fonts clearly, right?
Yes, for myself, yes.
Yeah, okay. So this is just a cool HTML file I have created. Just the HTML file with the head tags and body tag. So here what I'm trying to do is to show something. Yeah, I will start from here then. Let's go to the Graph Explorer. I guess you know about this. You can go to the Google and say Graph Explorer. So you will be able to see this kind of page. So in order to use this, the resources available in Microsoft 365 and use Graph API, you will be able to sign into Graph Explorer by providing your credentials. Okay. So yeah, I will log in with my credential. Okay. So now I have logged in with my credentials. This is the like basic query you can run on Graph Explorer. So you can say you can click on my profile and you will be able to view your profile details like this. Okay. So if you so this is the if you check the this is a get request. If you check this permission section, so you have already consented to read your profile details with the user.read permission. So if you check the access token, so now we have provided our credentials, your username and password to log into your Microsoft 365 account, and from that it has generated a access token. So they are passing this access token with this endpoint and retrieved your profile informations like this. Okay, so we have so many resources like this. So this is like a basic profile details, and you can get your emails, you can get your tasks, this kind of your profile based queries available in the getting started. And if you want to try something out with the Excel API, you can use this API. You can get a worksheet in a book, you can create some rows inside a worksheet. So if I show you some of the examples I have done with the with this Excel API, so you will be able to find that in my blog. So this is the one of the examples I have done. So I have got all of the necessary tokens and everything. So this is the kind of empty Excel file available in my OneDrive. So by issuing this kind of a command, this kind of a endpoint in Graph Explorer, you will be able to get all the files available in your OneDrive and the things. So you will be able to get the hope you can see clearly. You will be able to get your worksheet information by passing the your Excel file name like this, and then you can retrieve the workbooks available in that Excel file, then worksheets available in there. And then in the worksheets you have to pass the tab in the Excel tab name. Then so this is the table I have in there. So then you will be able to check so by passing this range query and passing these uh, the 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 row and the column borders for this table, you will be able to retrieve the table information with the table headers in here. And then I have actually created a Azure function app to process all of these things. So I will show you this one as well. So this token in the Graph Explorer, we got this token from the Graph Explorer by providing our credential. We can do the same thing with the Postman as well. So I guess you guys are familiar with Postman. So we have to go into the authorization tab, and you have to retrieve authorization token to access the Graph API resources. So you can click on get new access token, and you have to provide a callback URL, this auth URL, and access token URL. So these can be, we can retrieve the explained in here. You can use this auth URL and token URL for the Office 365 resources. This is the authorize endpoint and the token endpoint. So this client ID I saw in the previous session also, you got to know about this client ID and client secret. So in order to access the M365 resources, you have to create an application in the Azure Active Directory and provide necessary permissions. You can create a application in the Active Directory. You can move to the Azure portal, and you can go to the Azure Active Directory. Then you can go to the app registrations, and you can create a new registration. Actually, for the demo today, I have also created the application called this MGT sample. So this is the name. So you can so when you are creating a new registration, you can provide a name, and you can say what type of account, what type of users your application can access. So you can restrict it only for the one single tenant inside your organization, or else you can allow that to for multiple tenants, and you can allow that for personal accounts as well. So then here you have to provide a redirect URI. If you have provided a redirect URI here, then for this callback URL, you have to pass the same URL. Okay, so this redirect URI in here should be same as the callback URL. This is once you have retrieved a token and you have successfully logged into the application, you are telling, okay, I am done. You have to redirect me to this URL provided in here. So that's what the redirect URL does, but that's optional parameter. You don't want to specify that. But if you are going to specify that, make sure these callback URL in here and this redirect URI should be same. So then you can register your application. So I will go to the application I have created. Then after creating an application, you will be getting an application ID. So you want this application ID in here with the auth URL endpoint and token URL endpoint and client secret. You have to provide the client secret as well. You can go to this certificates and secret section and create a new client secret. I will say secret. And I want to expire that within 1 year. So it will be creating a client secret. Then it will show this. So you have to copy this value to somewhere. If not, when you are coming for the second time, it will not be shown. So you have to copy this for somewhere secure, and you can provide the client secret here. And for the scopes, if you remember, for the scopes, that means the permission set you are allowing. You are providing for the application. So if you have developed the application and you are asking one of your friend to log into that application, then you are trying to read his email information. Then your application should have permission to read your friend's email, your email box, right? So then you have to provide the necessary permissions for that one. So that's what the scopes does. So in here we read our profile information. So you had to provide. So when you are logging to this to Graph Explorer, you provided this user.read permission. So that's why this one, the Graph API could read your profile information. Okay. So in here it's user.read information, read permission. Then you have to paste this permission to the scope section here and get the request token. The same kind of a request token available in here. And I saw in the previous demo the speaker, she has like deserialized kind of a unencrypted this access token is the jot the token one, and she has shown you what are the available properties the available properties in the access token. So you got a pretty good understanding on that. So the same kind of access token we will be able to generate using the Postman by providing the auth URL endpoint, token URL endpoint, and client ID, client secret, your permissions from that. So if you have any doubts and if you want to explore more on that, you can go through my blogs. So this is a one blog post I have created to process Excel file with the Graph API using Azure function. Finally I showed you to something here. So you you could got the so you can see when you are requesting for the you are clicking on the request token, behind the scene it's going to create a post request to the token endpoint. So you have you have provided the permissions, user read permissions here, and then you have got a token something similar to the one in here, right? So then you can yeah, these kind of some kind of things have done with the Graph Explorer to weave the available columns in the Excel sheet by using this range parameter. So now I have created the function app, then I have written some kind of code in and got some results back. So this is the function settings. So I have provided the access token as a parameter. If not, you can generate the access token within the function app as well. So this is the permission to weave the Excel table. So read write all, I have given the right permission as well, since I am trying to do some insert some rows to the Excel file, the empty Excel file in there. So you have to generate the access token by passing the permissions here. Then I have written some codings to generate the access token, to get the access token and issue a REST API call for the graph in the Graph API. So this is the call to pass the base URL, drive, read, root, children, and file name to retrieve the things available in the Excel file. And then you are trying to modify the Excel sheet. So that means this one, this API. You have to first create a session, then you can create a new worksheet, and so this is creating a new worksheet. This is you are trying to add, you have to first create a session as I told you, then you have to call the row endpoint in here. And then this is the kind of class I have created to enter my column details into Excel row. So then you have to provide this kind of a two-dimensional array, since it has rows and columns to the Graph API to create these rows. So this is the modify table method. So you have to you have to use this API endpoint for that one, and you have to provide some parameters as well. So I have retrieved I have created kind of a two-dimensional array, and I'm going to like create a JSON format out of that, and I assign that JSON thing into a content in the request I'm trying to send, and then I'm getting the response. You have to respond as success. So, and then after that I'm trying to retrieve the total number of I think a number of sessions in that I'm trying to retrieve the total number of things for a column. And then I'm trying to create a chart based on the data available in the Excel sheet. We have created those rows out of that. Then finally you will be able to see your data is inserted into the Excel sheet. Then this two charts has been also created based on the data you have inserted. So you can go to the my GitHub repo and download the sample code and try out. And another thing I want to mention is, so I will go to the Graph Explorer and I will so you have something called, in Graph Explorer you have the uh, subscription API. So based on that, I have subscribed to my email box. You can subscribe to one of your email box, and once a email is received in your inbox, you can do something. So in here what I'm trying to do is, I have this is another example I have developed using Graph API to track your email box changes. So so I have created actually a timer trigger, or you can go with HTTP trigger as well. You can create a timer trigger, and at the end of the month you can generate a kind of a report on the emails you have received, or else you can go with the HTTP trigger and use the Microsoft Graph subscription API, and you can subscribe to a resource. The resource will be your email box. Once a email is received, let's say you have done some production merge in one of your branches, and you have released that into production, and once a email is received in your inbox, you want to get a SMS notification, or kind of you want to alert all of your DMs or your PMs about kind of a bad experience from the client. So then you can do something like this. You can create you can use the subscription API. So I will go to the GitHub repo. So you can go to the subscription API. Then you will be getting this kind of information about your resources. So if I move to the application, so this is so this is the subscription API available with the subscription endpoint. So that's a post. You have to provide your resource. So I'm trying to be alert, or I want to get notifications on my inbox if something receives. Then you can do some kind of things inside this method. You can configure the subscription API on your email box. Then once the email is received, you will get a notification. Once the notification is there, you can alert your relevant DMs and PMs on the change on some kind of a issue or some kind of a bad experience that your client has faced. So that kind of a thing you can do. And uh, uh, yeah, this is the token generation part. So you will be able to go through that example also in this my GitHub, one of my GitHub repo. So this is the place that you are trying to retrieve your email subject and email body and everything. So once this is the object that you are getting for the for the changes in the subscribed resource. So those are the two examples I have done with Microsoft Graph REST API. So I haven't used, I don't have any repo for the Microsoft Graph SDK. So now so this is the one I'm trying to demo today. So now let's start with our demo. The first one. So this is just an index. Just a HTML file, index.html. So I have created the HTML structure, and you when you are using your graph toolkit, you have to at the reference you have to use this library, MGT loader library, Microsoft Graph Toolkit loader library, in order to use your to call the Graph API resources. So I have added that, and now you have a pretty good understanding about the client ID. Uh, in Azure Active Directory, we have created app registration, and you can get the client ID here. Same client ID I have used in here. So then I have used the MGT login. So this is done for like Microsoft Graph Toolkit and login component. Now with the REST API you saw, we have to pass the token URL, auth URL, client ID, client secret, everything, and you have to request the token. You have to get the token. So you went through the stuff that we could do with the REST API, Graph API, Graph REST API, but with um, this graph toolkit you don't have to worry about that. What you have to do is you have to register, create your app registration, and provide the client ID in here, and when you create this login component in your HTML page, so then it will show up the login, the same kind of experience that you are getting from this from the Microsoft products. You will be able to deliver to your client. So this is the login components. I will sign out and sign in again. So first of all I will I will sign out. Then this is the application that we have developed just now. You have to create you have to create a application inside the Active Directory, and you have to pass the client ID, only the client ID. In that application, if you remember, I don't have any client secret also created, right? I don't have anything. So you can provide the client ID and MGT login. You have this the sign-in controller, that login controller available for the Microsoft product. So let's click on sign in and log into your account, and you are logged in, right? If you want to do some cool stuff with the uh, login component, you can do that. Let's comment out this one, and this is something like extended thing. So you have the login component same as the previous one, and you have this you can have the feasibility to define a template inside the login component. So it will show your name, and also it will show two buttons to sign out and to go to my profile, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. But in your website you can if you want to develop a website for your application, for a client, then if you they have Office 365 licenses and they want to log in to your application using their Office 365 account and all of that, within like a few minutes you will be able to create a login page with all of the stuff. You don't have to worry about the registration of the users. Just using their email IDs of Office 365 account details, they will be able to log into the application. So this is a kind of a yeah, so I will so this is I'm already signed in, so you can see sign out and go to my profile. So the sign out also works. It's the same as the previous example. So that's the like a bit advanced type of like bit fancy login. Then I will go with the basic login. After this, then you can use this people picker. The people picker available in your Outlook email. I have to sign in again. So no, nothing is available since you haven't signed in. I will sign in. So you can see all of the users available in your organization. Right? The same kind of experience for your customers that they are getting from the Office applications. Right? It's pretty cool. Right? So in the behind the scene, if I show you how this works, I will go to the network. So if you go to the XHR tab, some graph queries are running behind the scene. So when you are typing a name, like when you are clicking on these people, this box, so it's going to issue a request, get request to retrieve the people in your organization, and it's then it has received some response. So for the user, this one, the first one, and then Grady, then I think this one and Johanna. So all of these users has been retrieved. So it provides the users with the user to retrieve the photo of the user. So all of the will be able to check the response. So this is the preview, and for the first query, this is the preview. All of the users we can see in the screen by showing this graph request. So you don't have to create any coding. You don't have to create. Don't have to use the Graph REST API or Graph SDK. All of the things will be implemented using this Graph Toolkit, this web components. Okay, so then I will try to show my tasks. So if I go here, then you will be able to see the tasks I have allocated. In here you can do modifications on that, and then and the other one. Okay, now these examples are very like basic examples, that those are available in the this Microsoft Graph component playground. So what you have to do is you can say Microsoft Graph Toolkit playground, right? So you can go to this. You can see what are the web components available. The login component, we have the experience, the people picker, and the tasks. The people picker and the tasks. Okay, so these are the only components we have for the time being. So I will say, then if when you are trying to open this in here, you will be able to see all of these things in action. You can change these things also, and try out your queries by changing the HTML page with the web components available in the Graph Toolkit, and you can use it in your applications. These are kind of very simple examples provided, so that's what I have demoed now. But some of the graph API calls we want to use in our application, those are not available. At the moment we have only these components. So to resolve that one, you can use the mgt get component. So in this one, it's going to create a get query to the Microsoft Graph API URL, the endpoint that you are going to specify. So if you go with the mgt get here, so it's going to retrieve the emails in your email inbox. So mgt get, you have to pass the resource endpoint, the me and messages. So so if you say Outlook mails, so the me and messages, this is the endpoint to get your emails. So that's what done in here. Okay, so you have provided the me-messages resource, and you have to provide version v1 or v2. In the Graph Explorer also we can select the versions, and then the scopes, the permission. About the permission, we can specify the permissions here when you are retrieving the token, or else in the Graph Explorer also, we have a section to consent our permissions here, right? So you have a set of permissions here, uh, and then you can use the template. This kind of a template is available. If you are successful, this is the template it's going to run. Okay. uh, I got a question also, but I will do that later. Uh, oh, sorry. So this is when your request provides a successful response, this is the part you have to run. Then if when until it gets the response, this is the load in. This is the load in screen. This is the one if you get some errors. Okay. So then once you get the emails, so that's assigned for value. So you are going to go through the value, and create this type of a person. The mgt person, we use the mgt this people picker. You can use the mgt person as well. So this type of a thing you will be able to see, right? So I have also done the same like this. Yeah, you will be able to see all of your emails. So if I click on the person who sent me the email, you can see all of these things with just this code. Okay. Yeah, so that's about the first demo actually. We'll we have the experience on login component, people picker, tasks and get. Then let's dive into the demo 2. You can get the source code from this repo available in my GitHub account. So I'm trying to do some custom styling for using the mgt get components. I'm trying to read the data available in a SharePoint list and show it in my screen. And also I want to do some JavaScript coding. When a button is clicked, I want to do some changes into the SharePoint list. So that's the second demo. So let's go to that. I will dispose this one. Then I will be able to showcase this. Yeah. So the first of all, we have the yeah. So first of all, I have used the same. I have used the same client ID, and I have used this bootstrap as well to show some pretty UI. And if I click on this and I will say go live, then you can see my screen with the login component. Then I want to create this mgt get. So in order to retrieve SharePoint list, so we have a API in Microsoft Graph Explorer to retrieve the SharePoint details available. So this SharePoint lists and sites. At the moment, for the Microsoft Graph Toolkit, they don't have any API to the direct web component to get the SharePoint list details. So I'm trying to use the mgt get since because of that. Yeah, so this is the resource I want to use. So if I go and copy this one, first of all, what's the best option is, from my experience, if you want to try out some graph methods, just go here. So I will get just go to the Graph Explorer and try out from the base query. So you want to I will yeah, I want to select all of the sites available. Then I want to go to the root. So you can see the permissions also consented to retrieve read all the sites. Then I will go to the lists available in my root. So these are the lists I have. The amazing gift list that aOS promised you to give once you have answered all of the questions. So I'm going inside the gift list and let's check what are the items there. These are my thinking, my perception. This will not affect for the gift items you will be receiving. So then, as a normal query, you can run the filter operation in here. Okay. So I will show you the list. This is the list, aOS gift list. I have these items in my list. Uh, these type of like gadgets, tech gadgets, for all of us need, since we all are working from home. In Sri Lanka, it's the same. I don't know for you guys. I guess most of you are working from home. So yeah. So then I have filter out only the rows, only the items that has status available. Okay. Then we can say I want to expand the fields, right? Then you will be able to see uh, the items in there. So these are the fields and status available. So these are the fields available there for the second item and for the third item. Yeah. So that what we have done in the MGT get this in the resource endpoint, you have to pass the same thing, right? You can try out this thing with Postman as well by passing the access token. You have to get the client secret here, and you have to provide necessary permission that we have given um, in here. Site read all, the write read write all. Read, I think the read all permission will do. Uh, yeah, so now I will move into here. This is the endpoint, the familiar endpoint. Now we know what is this is, and I have specified the I guess you all can see this, and I have specified the version I want to use. You can use with the version 1 as well. You know what is this version is about, this one. And you can provide the scope, the permission, and you are retrieving only 2 pages. And the polling rate, you get the beauty is this one. The polling rate is once you are going to modify your SharePoint list from the back end, from one of your colleagues and all, then your web application, your web front end also will get refreshed. It's like for each 5 seconds it's going to issue this query and refresh your page. You don't have to do anything extra. So this is the familiar template we discussed for the value, for the login, for the error. So for the value, we get these site items as value. Then we have to get the title, description, these type of fields available in the available in our list, the same column. So likewise, yeah. So then you will be able to see this in our application, yeah, like this. So now what I want to do is, when I click on this button, I want to do some modifications to this list. I will go to the network tab. Then you can see the values, these 3 values, right? This is the graph query. It's going to execute. So I will go and comment out this one. So in here we have the MGT loader available. So from that it's going to get the providers, global provider, and your graph client. And with the graph client, it's going to issue a API request, and API request with the item ID, and it's going to update the status to return. Okay, that's what this code does. Let's check whether that's working. Yeah. if you want, you can go to the sources here, and you can put a breakpoint as well. I hope, I don't know, you can see the console window. Apologies for that. Earlier I couldn't show it to you properly. So if I clear everything, you can see it has gone to this, it has called to this API endpoint and retrieved the values. So every 5 seconds, you don't have to do anything, right? It goes for every 5 seconds. So then, yeah, I will go to the sources, and then uh, I will click on this button. Then it will comes to the change status method with the item ID, and we have the graph client, we have the MGT, and we have the providers and the global provider and our graph, and then our graph client with the base URL for the graph. Then you are issuing this API request with the item ID, and you want to update the status to return. At the moment in my site we don't have any returned items. Uh, so I will go there and click on this. So after 5 seconds it will be disappear, since I am trying to retrieve only the available columns or available items. So you can see the returned has been printed. Okay, so that's all about the demo. The second demo, I think time is also like gone. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, the first demo we gone through these components, and the second demo, this one, you can go to the my GitHub repo to get the code for this SharePoint list one. So that's the one. You can go to here and get the code and run it yourselves and understand what's going on. Uh, yep. So by this way, you can create like full secured application backed by the Azure Active Directory. It's easy to log in. You can provide multi-factor authentication. It's dynamically loading from the SharePoint list, and also it provides browser compatibility. It works everywhere, in your desktop, in your mobile, everywhere. So we are done with the second demo, and I want you guys to do me a favor. I want some feedback from you guys for my speaker profile uh, to encourage me, and also to identify my mistakes and everything. If you have time, uh, please scan this QR code, then you will be able to give your feedback for me. And then you have to provide your email address. For that email address, you will receive an email that you have given this rating to me. You have to confirm that one. So that's all you have to do. And also we have this the quiz, the amazing quiz, and to get some worthy prizes for you guys. So please scan this QR code also. You will be able to see the questions you have to answer. Then good luck with that. And if you want to know more information, and if you want to know, have a chat with me on this Graph API, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. With you have my email address. You can tweet me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. So these are my contacts available. Yeah. So yeah, that's all. I think we have some questions. Can you show us a demo on how to fetch the emails in Postman? Uh, I don't think we have time for that, but the emails, you can obviously use this the mail API, my mail, this one, me messages. You can get the you can provide your auth URL, access token URL. I showed you that one. Uh, in my, like in the beginning of my session, you can go to the Postman and provide these information, your callback, your auth URL and access token URL, then the client ID retrieved from the Azure Active Directory, and the client secret you are going to use. And for the permissions, you have to say mails.read, and you can try out, you can get the request token, and you can pass this endpoint and send. Then you will be able to see all of your emails. So that's how we can do. You can start with the Graph Explorer, and also once I do this, then you will be able to get your mail information. Then for the access token, you can use this access token. Actually, I will do that quickly. Yeah, this one for the access token, I may have to give a name. You can provide the access token here, since this is not configured. uh, you have to get the available tokens to this drop down. Okay, I'll try this one. You can provide the access token from the yeah, I will copy this. This also works. uh, yeah, then you will be able to see your emails, hopefully. Yeah, you'll be able to see the emails, but to generate this access token you have to follow the this one. Yeah, so that's the thing that answers your question. I think that's all. That's the questions I got. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted you guys to know on the Graph Toolkit. So thank you everyone for joining my sessions, despite from being a Saturday. Okay, so stay safe and
Thank
stay
you,
healthy.
Hansana.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you
very
very
much for the
much.
sessions. Yeah, so at 12 o'clock, we are having lunch break. So for all the audience, I saw there are some that just came into this room. So just want to announce that at 12, at this time, 12 o'clock is our lunch break. So until 1 o'clock, we will start again the afternoon sessions. So after the lunch time, our meeting link will change, a new meeting link. So there's a new meeting join link. Kindly refer to the websites to select which sessions or track that you want to join after lunch. Then you can join us from there. So do not enter back this meeting room, because this meeting room will be closed until 1 o'clock. We will start again in the new meeting room. Refer to the website. I've put the website in the chat, that you can join us from there. So with that, there's an agenda as well to show you what are the sessions available in different track. Just click on the Teams icon in the website that you will be able to redirect to the meeting room respectively. Okay, thank you very much for joining us for this morning, and don't forget we are having a quiz until end of today. So you may actually refer to the QR code that you scanned just now, or I will post the URL here again for you to join the quiz. Thank you very much.